Hey, this is Wes Fryer. It's April 16th, 2021. I'm here in Oklahoma City, and I am in the midst of the first brisket cook on my new RecTeq RT-700 grill. This thing is awesome. If you haven't seen my video that I put together about the research that I did, I'll put that link in. But what I'm going to basically do is we're going to go back in time to midnight. There are 4 things that I did differently with this brisket cook, and that's what this video is about, is the first full packer brisket cook that I've done here on the RecTeq, and there's a few things that I did differently. So one of the first things is I followed Jeremy Yoder's advice and got some beef tallow, and Jeremy says, and he's the author of Mad Scientist Barbecue on YouTube. If you don't follow him, check him out, although he'll try to convince you that you need to get an offset stick burner smoker and not a pellet grill. But anyway, to recreate the incredibly moist brisket of Aaron Franklin of Austin, Texas, you take some melted beef tallow and you brush it on your butcher paper before you rub after the stall at 165 degrees or so, approximately, and then and also some on the brisket. And so I did that before I wrapped. I also did something different with the rub. So all of the briskets that I have made in the past have just been pretty much straight up Texas style brisket, half salt, half black pepper, binder with yellow mustard. But Butcher Barbecue Stand, if you don't know, they're famous here in Oklahoma, up in Wellston, about 30 minutes from our house. It's one of those barbecue places that runs out of barbecue every day, so you got to get there early, and you can end up standing in line for hours if you don't get there early. They have a line of rubs, and this is called their grilling addiction. And so anyway, this is different. I thought I'd give it a try. One of the most important things with brisket you've got to watch out for with rubs is you certainly don't want sugar because of the length of your cook. It can burn. And you also want to be really wary of salt. I didn't add additional salt. Some folks prefer to have rubs that don't have any salt, and then you add your salt separately. But anyway, giving this a try, and we'll see. The other thing that I did here, this is an oven finish, and I'll mention that in the cook. It's awesome to be able to use a wood fire pellet smoker. But the thing is, after you wrap your brisket, which usually, cooking low and slow at 225 like I did, that is about 8 hours, into your cook. You wrap it in either foil or butcher paper, and then you're not putting more smoke into your meat. So Harry Sue, who has another great channel, it's Slap Your Daddy Barbecue, mentioned that in one of his videos. And so rather than use my pellets for the other probably almost 8 hours of cooking, I'm using our electric oven, and I've got it set at 225. So it's coming along really well, but that's something else that I haven't done every time. And then the last thing that I did was a midnight start, and I'll have to put a link in the YouTube description. The name of his video is like 2 months old now. It's called "Are You Making These 100 Mistakes with Brisket?" I've watched that video twice now. It's amazing. One of the things that he says, is that in order to get your long cook and not have to stay up all night or eat it the next day, is it's possible to start it really late and then get your brisket to the point where you're ready to wrap, in the morning. And so that's what I did. Now, in order to do that, you really need a pellet smoker. You could be using an electric, but, wood-fired, barbecued, I think definitely it tastes the best. And so, I'm honestly not that interested in, at this point in my life, pulling an all-nighter to just babysit my my pellet smoker, or my smoker. If I had an offset. I was tempted. Jeremy almost had me going with an offset. Not quite, but I thought real seriously about it. So anyway, my timing here was I put it in just after midnight. I did actually get up at 5 a.m. to check it, and that's the video we're going to go to. Did I do a video then? No, I didn't. I skipped that video. I did a video when I put it on. I didn't do a video at 5 a.m. But then by 8 o'clock, we were at about 165, 170, in the flat, and it was ready to wrap. So anyway, here we go. Without further ado, it's the first pellet smoker brisket on the RecTeq 700 Bull. I think it's going to be good. Well, it's just after midnight, about 12:15. We are dialed in right at 225. And what do we have? Oh, look. Let's turn on the light. It's a brisket. It's going to cook overnight. So, temps are right now about 50 degrees. In about 8 hours, we're thinking we're going to be at about 165 and be ready for the wrap. Let's see. How lovely. The bowl is going to keep the temperature for me all night. All right, we've been on for 7 hours. Actually, oh, look at that. We're at 160. I got up at, after 5 hours at 5 a.m. and oh my goodness, that bark, that looks fantastic. Okay, I think we're ready to wrap. I could, well, you know what? I could leave it on just a little bit longer. Oh my gosh, that's great. Well, it sprayed just a little bit here. I sprayed a little apple cider vinegar. Make sure we don't dry out. And I could have done that a little bit more. I really haven't. Here, let's go ahead and do a temperature check here. So I'm about to wrap, and I've never done this before, but going off of Jeremy Yoder Mad Science Barbecue, trying to replicate the amazing brisket results of Aaron Franklin, has said that adding beef tallow, putting beef tallow on your wrap will help you replicate the Aaron Franklin results. So from Amazon, we got some Wagyu beef tallow from South Chicago Packing. Let's stay out of the trash can, okay? And I'm just gonna come over here to the microwave and put this on. I like actually powering a lot of some stuff that I warm up at 50%. So let's warm that up for about 50% power for a minute. Basically, I just want to melt this. And then I'm going to brush this onto my my butcher paper, and I'm going to try to wrap tighter than I've wrapped in the past with my butcher paper. And I should be ready to wrap. I was at about a little just below 160, maybe 45 minutes ago. All right, let's check it out here. Ooh, looks like we need a little bit more. All right, the other thing to notice here, besides the fact, now my beef tallow, yay, looks like it's nice and warm, is I have preheated to 225, and that is because we're doing backyard barbecue here, not competition, and I'm going to put it in the oven for the remainder of the cook because, you know, the smoking is over at this point in terms of smoke flavor once we wrap, and Harry Sue says that, you know, backyard, you can waste pellets and burn pellets if you want, but I'm going to use electricity and use the BTUs from my oven to finish this brisket off. All right, I don't have my assistant now to hold my camera, so I'm going to have to put this on my tripod, but here we are at 168, 166. It should be pretty much perfect. Let's go ahead and pack it. Oh, looking good. Color looks good there. Let's go here at the part of the point. And, yeah, we're about 160, 159. On the flat, just get in the middle, a little bit warmer, 165. So, that looks good. What do you think? Yeah, you're not going to get to taste it right now. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and pull this off with my gloves and put it over here on the table to wrap. Alright, so, move. To do this Aaron Franklin method, I am supposed to brush beef tallow, which I'm sure smells very, very good and interesting. And we're going to put this on the butcher paper. The butcher paper actually will form a seal on the meat and help, you know, keep it moist. That's the thing. The reason why, and some people will cook no wrap, but most people do wrap. I don't know. I think most people do, from what I've read. And it's gonna help keep in the moisture, seal it in. Okay, so got that. I wonder if we should just go ahead and this will be a challenge. Maybe a challenge for Moose not to. Nope, you cannot taste it, Moose. No, it's hard, buddy. Moose wants to participate in all aspects of the smoke. And following the good leadership of Harry Sue Barbecue, Slap Your Daddy Barbecue, with Mr. Beans, Moose does get some taste of barbecue. But, okay, here we go. Nope, Moose. Here we are. There's the top. There's the bottom. Oh, and look, I put a little, oh, isn't that interesting? Maybe I should have moved that. Wow. Look at where, look at how that fat did not, the brisket did not form. I followed that advice of Harry. Okay, and I guess I'll go fat cap down. I think I'll go ahead and brush it with a little beef tallow as well here. The fat cap is down. There's plenty of fat on that end. I want to be careful. I kind of started to break my bark a little bit here. Okay, that's probably fine. All right, so let's wrap this sucker up. I have actually not focused on wrapping as tightly in the past. I guess, dude, I'm gonna flip that over. Woo! Getting a little good juice there on the table, Moose. Clean that up later. Man, maybe I want even bigger paper. First time I've cooked a brisket and not had to cut it in half, because I've always cooked on a smaller, I've always smoked on a smaller smoker. And for guidelines, I told my, okay, so that was fat cap is up here. Okay, all right, I think that'll work. I measured my paper, and I got about, probably maybe 4 feet. I got, I don't know, 5. I got twice the width of this table. So, okay, let me move the camera inside and we'll put it in the oven. I'm gonna go ahead and power off the RecTeq. So when I push my power here, it's just gonna go into its cycle and shut down. So the fan's still gonna run, but it's gonna do its thing. And the LED there changes, you know, to say fan, and it's going to get all the pellets and everything like that, you know, get everything situated so it'll be ready for the next cook. And we can see here in the hopper, you know, how we depleted just a little bit, but that was an 8-hour cook. We got 40 hours of cook time in the RecTeq, which is one of the best things about it. And yeah, just awesome. All right, so we're ready to go in the oven. I went ahead and put my roasting pan in here so it wouldn't be cold, because I really don't want to spend any more of my heat or take any more of the heat out of my brisket. So it fits in there perfect. Hopefully that's wrapped tight enough. Just like over here, it's kind of unwrapped. I'm going to tighten that up just a little bit. Nice to have on the insulated barbecue gloves. No way we would do this otherwise. Okay, all right, so we're 225. I could go ahead and put my probe thermometer. I've got a wireless one that I could put in, and I may be doing that later, but I know this is gonna take, I'm expecting about 5 or 6 hours. So, but there's no need to check it. We're not gonna smoke it. We're not gonna put anything else, any more, you know, spritz or whatever on it. It's just, it's just in there. So 8 hours on the smoker, and I think I'll probably check this probably in about 4 or 5 hours, maybe about 12:30. All right, so this brisket has been cooking for a little over 12 hours. It was on the smoker for 8 hours. It has been in the oven at 225 or it was on the smoker on the RecTeq at 225. It's been in our oven for 4 hours. I'm expecting it to probably take 6 to 8 more hours to come up to temp, which should be about 205. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to use a thermoprobe to instant check it. I also am going to go ahead and put in my my meat probes here on my, I guess, my other thermoprobe, and that way I'll be able to monitor it a little bit as it continues to come up to temp. So let's see what's going on. All right, I think I'll go ahead and just take it out to do this check and put this in. Got some juice there. All right, so we're gonna do a couple temperature checks here. We're at 181, 182 there, and I think that's in the point. And let's test the flat here. It's gonna be hotter, so 181 in the point, about 195 in the flat. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch or put these in. It's kind of always a challenge to figure out which one's which. Okay, so I'm gonna put number 1. I'm gonna try to put it here. What do we say we were at 181? Try to put that right in the middle. See where that comes out. And then we'll put this one here in the flat. And once that syncs up here, maybe. See if that's gonna sync up. Come on, sync. There we go. Okay. So we are coming close. This is the point, or sorry, this is the flat, which is going to be a little bit warmer. I'm going to wait to that point, I think is at about 200 to go ahead and pull it out. But it's, looks all promising and good. So I'm going to go ahead and put this back in. Again, I am doing this in the oven rather than on the smoker because it's just BTUs when you pull the meat off of the smoker and when you wrap. It's just heat. And so I learned that's from Harry Sue. Shout out to Slap Your Daddy Barbecue. You know, if you want to, use pellets and keep that on the outside smoker, more power to you. But you're probably not putting any more smoke flavor, into your brisket when you're doing backyard barbecue. If you're doing competition or something like this, obviously you got to do this on your smoker. We're not doing this for competition. We're doing this for the family in the backyard. So we're using the oven. So yeah, temperatures are looking good, and we're going to see what happens as I continue to monitor this. I'm going to be monitoring my top temperature here, which is at 190. 10 more degrees. That's pretty much it. So we're doing 12 hours. Maybe that's going to be another hour or two. When that hits 200, I'm going to feel good, and we're just going to go ahead and pull this off to rest. All right, we have been on for 12 hours, and as you'll hear lots of people say, temperature is really just a guide. What you're really waiting for as far as taking your brisket off is tenderness, and so you got to probe for that. And I just probed, and we are. It's supposed to basically, I guess, feel like butter. And anyway, I think we're there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead, pull this guy out, and we've got a lot more liquid in there than I would normally have. And what I wanted to do is just go ahead and put this in my styrofoam cooler, which Moose is really excited to help assist with. And then I'm gonna, I was just gonna put it in the towel here, but man, this looks a lot more moist than what I've had before. As you may recall, I actually wrapped with beef tallow, and goodness gracious, yeah, I've got a lot of grease that's in there. So, I better put my gloves on, and I want to ruin really this this styrofoam cooler. So I don't know. We'll see how this is going to work. Oh, this is a super moist brisket. Oh my gosh, look at that. Look at all the juice coming off that thing. Holy cow. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and set it down in here. And Lisa's saying, Dad, I'm ready to help with that. So, we got it in the towel, and we're gonna go ahead and put it in the cooler and let it rest. So, yeah, there we go. Normally, I would be able to, normally I've always rested for at least an hour, but we've got a good 4 hours before we eat, which is great. So I'm probably gonna just let it rest for about 3.5 hours, and then I'll cut it up. Wow, that brisket looks a lot juicier than anything I've ever cooked before. Moose, what do you think, buddy? Are you ready, huh? Yeah, Moose says he's ready for his bite. All right, it's the time of truth. This has been resting about 4.5 hours, and as I said, there are several things that I did differently with this brisket that I've never done before. And Smoke Trails BBQ, and I need to learn his name, is the YouTuber who talked about overnight barbecue, and that's the way I, learned how to put this on at midnight, and I love this. We'll see what the result is, but it was absolutely great to have the cooking done at 2 o'clock today and have more buffer time, and then have so long for the rest. So, all right, let's see. I have not had this open at all. And as I've said, this is the first time that I've ever been able to cook a brisket fully, as one piece, because my smoker has always been too small. Okay, so this is the point and this is the flat, and let's just go ahead and cut between the flat and the point and just kind of see where we're at with this. All right, take a look at, oh my gosh, that's juicier than any brisket I've ever had. And then take a look at this. All right, take a look at the smoke ring. Take a look at the juice. That looks amazing, amazing. All right, so let's go ahead and cut into the point. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Wow. Thanks to my mom for this wonderful cleaver knife. One of the things I also did on this one is I didn't dig in as much as far as the fat when this was a 13.5 pound brisket, and oh my goodness, look at that. Okay, can we resist having some? Want to give it a try?
Yes.
All right.
Delicious.
Oh my gosh. Without question, this is the juiciest brisket I have ever made. Wow. The flavor is also different. So it's not that we didn't do the Texas style just with the standard salt and pepper. Oh my gosh. My videographer Rachel, I'm gonna have to do another taste. So, and you can see here, you don't want too much fat on the fat cap. So we've got, about a 1/4 inch fat there. Nice smoke ring. Oh my gosh. It's incredible. All right, so let me finish slicing this. We'll slice into the point, slice into the fat. Flat. These are some thick slices. Maybe I should have sliced a little bit thinner. So the point there is the the fattiest part. It's the thickest part. The temperature of the point when I took it off was just over 200. It was about 202. The flat was actually at 205, 206. Normally we talk about going until 205 when we are taking the brisket off. So, man, that's... And the thing is, this is the first time, like I said, that I used the Jeremy Yoder method with the beef tallow. And so I brushed, ooh, I'm about to lose my whole cutting board. I brushed the actual paper, the butcher paper with beef tallow, and then I brushed the non-fat cap side of the brisket with the beef tallow before the wrap. And so that is what is supposed to... I have not been to Aaron Franklin Barbecue in Austin, Texas. I have watched the video that Jeremy Yoder did of night before overnight smoke. It's the way to go. Adios. Moose gets his taste. Here it comes, Moose. You ready? All right, Moose, what do you think? Was it good?
He wants more.
He wants more. That's some good stuff, huh?
All right.
Licking.
I think it has the
I don't have
Moose
any.
approval.